Today, we're going to talk about how the org hierarchy and how somebody's assignment into the org hierarchy impacts workflows. And we're going to specifically focus on their location assignment within the org and how the location and role play together. Yesterday, we saw that Jordan owned this part of the org on the screen, whereas today we're going to look at a payroll adjustment for an employee called Noah, who is in the Toronto stockroom. And we can see this Toronto stockroom is part of the Toronto flagship store, which sits in Ontario district in the Canada country. And Noah's going to need a sign off for some type of form that needs the payroll administrator. So what Dayforce is going to do is it's going to look at Noah and it's going to start working its way up the organization until it finds the right person. So the first place up the organization it works is to the store level, and at the store level it finds Priya assigned. But Priya has the assistant manager role and access. So Priya can't actually sign off this form. So it then keeps looking up the org and it jumps to the district level. And we can see here's Jordan from yesterday. But Jordan has a sales manager role assigned. Now remember, somebody can have multiple roles. And he's just got the sales manager assigned. So Jordan can't actually approve this. So Dayforce says, no one exists there. And it jumps to the next step. And it then climbs to Canada as a country. And here we can see is Diego. And if we just go next, we'll see it goes green because Diego's a match. Diego has the payroll administrator role, and the approval will now go to him. So in practice, how that works when we look at Dayforce, within the dig, we can see under workflow administration configuration, workflow designer, it tells us about the workflow node properties. And so this tells us all about the nodes. Now, the specific node that we are using is a routing node. So where does the form route to? And without getting into the detail, you can jump onto the dig at any point. It's publicly accessible. We can see there are various nodes that we can go. Now, the specific one we're looking at here was sent to role relative to the affected employee, right? So Diego was the payroll admin role, and he had access on that. So, and then further to that, what we've said is we've asked it to look up the organizational hierarchy. So when we look at the org hierarchy here, it checks for users who have the selected role and access to the on-site department of the affected employee's work assignment. It moves up the hierarchy as we saw, and it finds users with the selected role who have the required location access. That's how Dayforce looks up the org hierarchy. Now, in practice, that looks like this. We can see over here where it says routing to admins. And then if you look at this shape of this, that is the routing node. So that's how we know it's a routing node. And then we can see the person's given us a name and a little description. Send to role relative to affected employee. So we would be looking at that. And then in here, if you select an option, it'll come up with the different roles that are available in your configuration. Then you have this piece, search for role within hierarchy. So you can see it's got both management and org hierarchy currently selected. And this was often selected by default. But what you can actually do if you pick that pick list is you can choose which hierarchy you want to use. So depending on how well you understand the hierarchies and this stuff, you can actually customize your workflows to work a lot better. And in short, that is how the organizational hierarchy affects workflows in Dayforce.